Now here's a little tip here from the Gogar Hole. Say you want to do a vein effect on a life-size creature, or perhaps for your miniatures, you want to add something like intestines, like pouring out of them. You know, like on play bearings, they got the bellies with like all the guts pouring out. Or what you could actually use for that is, if you live in the area of from Canada on the east coast all the way down to Guatemala, there's something called Virigina Creeper. It grows all over the place. Okay, Wellington, show them the nice picture of what it looks like. Here we go. This is the picture of what it looks like here. And notice it has 5 leaves on it. If it's got 3 leaves, stay away. That's poison oak or poison ivy. You don't want to touch it. But Virginia Creeper, 5 leaves, and it's very useful. And what we would use them for is when you take the vine itself, you find what's anchoring it. It has these roots that anchor it to the walls and the fences and like that. You could pull it off. It's very durable, and that gives you the perfect shape. And I've used them on some, here's a view of some of the miniatures I've used them on right here. We'll pan the camera across. And now for the trick for that is, it's all done mainly with epoxy. So we'll be showing that to you in a moment right now, the epoxy trick for that. And also, here's another example now for the life-size figure. Oh, here's Grandpa Grudriel. Show them Grandpa Grudriel. Oh, he's like terrifying, terrifying. Okay, so here we go. And here's for the trick for Virginia Creeper. And here are the roots to the Virginia Creeper vines. Right here. Now these were pulled off of a wooden fence that were anchoring the Virginia Creeper to it. As you can see, all these wonderful little twirly-culicues over here. And these were taken off several months ago, but they're still manageable. That works very good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some epoxy. And here we go. We have the 2-part epoxy right here. We're going to mix that up. And I also have some colorant here ready. And I usually use a darker color, but I'm going to make it a light pink just so it's more visible. Okay, with the epoxy ready to go, now we're going to coat all the individual pieces here. I'm going to mix them in with the epoxy. Get that nice and thick, and we'll actually be giving this several coats. So let's see, here's the first coat right here. And the good thing about the epoxy is it will also anchor it to the model. So no other things need to be to stick it to. And okay, let's bring in our first contestant over here. Going right for the eyeball, here he is. Moving up, da-da-da-da-da.
Oh my, what a handsome face.
Yes, everyone say hello to Clem right there. Say hello to Clem. Okay, so mixed up. This nice and gooey. We're going to stick this, let's see, I think right about there. And we're going to paint him up later, so it doesn't matter how yucky it gets. I'm going to mix up another one. Maybe use my gloves to mix it up a little bit in there. And as you can see, for a larger model, this is very good for little fine details. So this would be somewhere if it was like protected with a piece of plexiglass or something, where the customers really couldn't rip at it. This will work very well. Let's get that right. What the hell are we looking? How about one? I'm going to snip off a heavy piece here. Maybe use that as one last piece. Oh, that one's rather disintegrating on me. So I'll place this one right toward the middle back more, like right. Okay, right about there. Maybe a little tiny piece up here. Okay, so we're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to hit it with another coat. And now for the build-up here. Okay, we're going to start back at the stalks and build it like heavier in the back, and slowly, don't do that too much to the front, but keep it nice and thick toward the back. And you're really relying on the epoxy, actually, more than the plant stem itself to be the support. Just going to build up on everything. And I'll probably do this about maybe 3 or 4 times. Get it to the right thickness. Also, as it's drying too, and it's getting gooey, you can play with it a little bit and pull it around and get it into all weird shapes. As a matter of fact, I want to add one more piece to this. Let's add one more piece. I think something more toward the middle here. Get that nice and soaked up. Yeah, one more piece right about here. A little bit too hollow. Which doesn't want to leave my finger. See? Yeah, okay, yes, I like that much better now. Okay, and keep building up and building up. I'm going to try to stop too many globules like forming at the end too. I should have wiped those down. Yep, and it wants to stick. Okay, nice big thick glop right there. There we go, much, much better. Oh, we have some extra epoxy. So why don't we get to working on a miniature here? Okay, I've got this little nurgly fellow right here. Little beast of nurgle. That's a little too, that might be a little too long there. Is that going to interfere? No, it just made it. Okay, that just made it, and let's see, off to the side. Okay, little one right over here. Get that to hopefully stick in there. Now it's going to stick on the glove instead. It's setting up a little too fast for me. Okay, we have a nice big opening right over here. Let's put some of the big ones in there. Maybe one more piece. Ah yes, plague bearers, one of my favorite parts of the army, for my Nurgle army, and here I did an original take on them, and here, as you can see, the Virigina Creeper method has been done to all the bellies here, and these ones are a little bit different. I took the Age of Sigmar, I took the Seraphon army, which is the Saurus Guard, and I kept the bodies, I kept the weapons, I Nurgled out the weapons a little bit, and then I took Abe's epoxy sculpt, you can use green stuff, and I gave him little pot bellies right over here. Took pot bellies and then, carved in a little wound, and once that dried up, I did the same method over here with the Virginia Creeper, and the very small pieces of it, and epoxied all those in here, all nice here, well into the bellies. And then I painted it with various pinks you have here and different reds, and voila, there we go, a different take on it. Very much similar to, I would say, what are those reptiles they have there that they have all the germs in their mouths? What is that, Wellington Slay?
Not sure.
Wait, I know, Komodo dragons, yes, because Komodo dragons use bacteria when they attack creatures, so that is very nurgly. So these are the Komodo dragon variant of the plague bearers.
Interesting.
And here we go, we're painted up to the point right now that, okay, this has all been completed, painted here. And, oh, by the way, before we called him Clem, now he's going to be Grandpa Grudriel. So he's playing many very parts, he's Legion, he's many guys right here. So now he's Grandpa Grudriel. And as you can see here, what we did for the base coat was Santa Flesh, is what we put all over the Virginia Creeper and epoxy. And to color it, I like to do a little bit of a mix. Now, I could just do it like a simple red color here, but I like to use 2 colors for here. So we're going to use the Carroburg Crimson from Citadel. And that's a shade, that's a special wash color. And also the Druchi Violet. I used to call this Drukari Violet, but it's Druchi Violet. And I'm going to polish it off here with some transparent scar red in the deep recesses. So, okay, so let's start with the Cannonberg. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to cover the entire thing. I'm just going to model it on at different areas. Just kind of like leopard spot the entire thing. And I'm going to fill in the other areas with the violet color. Okay, so as you can see there, I left some spots bare. And now into the violet. Let's get the violet and let that mix in a little bit. And I'm going to hit those spots. And run a couple, some of it will go over the crimson too. I want to give it a very like transparent veiny look. Okay, so that's everything is fully coated right there with the two colors. I'm going to take a little bit of optional, I'm going to take transparent scar red, and for some of the deep recesses, I'm just going to fill those in, add a little bit of modeling there. If I see any like kind of white areas, I'm going to hit that. Now the other two colors, they go pretty much, they come to like a dull color. So we're also going to coat this with a, what do you call it, a gloss color. And finally some acrylic, Liquitex acrylic, gloss medium and varnish. We're just going to gloss that up. As you can see, as it dried, it turned kind of dull. So nice heaping gloops and glops all over the place. Just slop it right in there and get that nice and shiny. Okay, same thing on the boar hammer miniature. Now this is my mushroom creature, a beast of Nurgle. We'll have another video where we'll be putting the mushrooms on him, but this is him for now, incomplete. And I like to just finish off, this is the same method that we did there on Grandpa Grudriel, but I think I'm going to put a little bit of Nurgle's rot. Now I took it out of the container and put it into a squeeze tube, because I'm not a big fan of the Citadel. They let too much containers, they let too much air in, and just add a little bit to don't entirely cover it, just add little splooches and splotches of Nurgle's rot. It kind of goes with them. Make them nice and grotesque. Just a little tap, tap, tap. There we go. Sort of like, you know, what would be leaking out of this like fungal creature's intestines all over the floor. I think there's actually a role for that in the game too. Like if you pass by it, you take damage. So there we go. Some nice intestinal crap coming out. Okay, there we go with him. Okay. There we go, the final steps. And okay, so he's not ready, completely finished yet, but he's finished as far as all the detail right here, and then we'll add the mushroom caps. And okay, and to end this video, let's add a little bit of wisdom from Mr. Carpetbagger himself. Never accept gifts from people who are trying to kill you. Bye now.